Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, the big day, because we have Jerome Powell speaking at Jackson Hole this morning, and I believe that is going to be, let me double check here, at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Yes, that is correct. Now, my recollection is that in the past, we have gotten like speech contents early, so I don't know about that. There was no morning news. I know I'm a little bit late here, but it's all good. I think that the market will be a little iffy before he starts speaking, okay? or rather, until he starts speaking. So, coming back over to the charts. Let's do some rollovers here. It's time to push over Ethereum. So, in the treasuries, we had a little bit of a down day yesterday, and now in the overnight, we're coming back up. So this really looks to me like a market that is just going sideways until Jerome Powell speaks. And we'll come over to... Oh, wait, what the hell was I looking at? I'm so confused now. Oh, was I looking at copper there? No, here's the end. Okay, still kind of, I guess we're a little bit down from yesterday, but not a whole lot of movement in the overnight market, right? S&P 500, though, man, this one was really interesting. So overnight, remember yesterday we had that huge pop on Nvidia. Well, they just sold it all day. Maybe some profit taking before the Jerome Powell speech. I don't know, but we kind of triggered some CTA levels and so forth, and just sold TF out of this and selling hard into the close. That was the equity markets yesterday. Overnight, we've got a little bit of up movement in oil. I think that there was some concern over a strike somewhere. Gold and silver not really doing a whole lot, although that move the day before yesterday in silver was pretty amazing. And then yeah, copper. Here's copper popping up a little bit overnight, but just kind of mostly going sideways. Bitcoin's been doing some weird things. Look at that. There's a BART right there. So somebody tried to save it on the 23rd and it didn't go anywhere and they bailed, but they actually... Hey, they didn't do too bad on that one. I think they probably lost money, but it could have been worse, right? And then you've got the dollar, which continues to be strong and is piercing 104 today. 104, isn't that wild? You know, it's so crazy to me. Everything that's been going on, that the dollar has been so strong throughout this, because that is just not what any of us would have predicted at the beginning. And it's kind of funny to see everybody talking about the dollar, that like the dollar's getting weaker and they're destroying our currency and everything. Well, there is certainly inflation. But it is all around the world, and the United States is currently the shiniest turd in the toilet. So man, I keep getting these little like statics. It's like the CIA is listening to me again or something. I tried, like, I was like, is it just my phone disrupting my sound card? So I, like, threw it out. I turned it off to see if that got rid of it. That did not get rid of it. So I don't know what keeps causing that little... I don't know if you guys hear it. I hope that you guys don't hear it, but I can hear it. And it's annoying. AF. Okay. You notice that your Amazon Fire remote makes little noises? Well, that's funny that now that I say that, I got a really big long static. So they're definitely paying attention and listening. I don't know. I picked up my phone and moved it, and that did something. Maybe it's because the phone is still listening even when I turn it off. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so crazy. I think I do need to keep the phone over here today, though. I've had that thing for years and never noticed. Oh, geez. I don't think I would ever get like those Amazon devices there. They scare me. I'm suspicious of them. One of my kids got one, like their dad got it for them, and they had it in their room, and I'm like, the F is this? You're not allowed to have one of those. And they're like, it's just in Amazon. No, children. It's not okay. Not okay. They did not understand. They did not understand why I did not want Jeff Bezos listening to what's going on in my house. I love the guy. I love the things that he sends to my house. Okay, but I just don't want him listening. Okay. Okay, so now that I've kind of done all of the beginning things here, we're kind of doing an experiment. So can I show you something really quick? This is kind of cool. Well, it's not kind of cool. It's interesting. You guys might not like it. Okay. But if I come over here to my analytics and I pull up like revenue. Okay. So like when I look at revenue, I don't know if those dollar numbers matter, but look at this week. It's significantly higher than it usually is. Well, I guess we did on Tuesday with somebody did donate. So that's probably some of it. But I think it is because of the YouTube showing the ads. So I think we're supposed, like, YouTube really wants us to show the ads, but I don't want it to be like, well, I'm talking and saying something important. So when I come into a break, natural break here, I think we should try for a week or so to put ads in and see how it goes. I know that it will kind of temporarily hurt viewers, but I think that it's a good, I don't know, I think it could benefit us in the long run. So let's give it a try, eh? So here we're going to go to an ad break here. Now, not everybody's going to get it because Uzi doesn't get the ad, right? What is it? What do we say? Ad block. He's got the ad block. Also, I don't know how long the ads are. Steven, what have you been up to? You've got the ad block too? See, I don't, so nobody that's talking right at the moment is seeing the ads. That's funny. Good morning, Eddie. Welcome back. Yeah, life, how it goes. I mean, it's just, you've just been missing the summer. That's all you missed. By the way, did you see my video about the volume profile stuff, Steven? Because I ended up doing some interesting Python and backtesting work that to make that video you might be interested in. Khulud, you've never gotten ads from YouTube? You know, it's a difficult issue for me because I go back and forth. Like, I have definitely felt times. Oh, you haven't downloaded it yet? Well, I have, like, you know, I had like this huge data set that I generated that data from. So that was kind of like the first major step. Oh, but so my wife, she was working and the babies are upstairs sleeping still. And if something happens, I have to go and check them. And I just saw the baby was squirming around, but we're okay. I need to be quieter. No, we're okay as long as I don't like scream at the top of the lungs. It's been a minute, so I'm assuming that everybody that was that did get an ad is back. You always use the ad blocker. Anyways, so there's definitely been some times where I feel like the YouTube ads that you get are just atrocious. And you know, it's not even so much that I get an ad as it is what ads it decides to show me, you know? Like, especially in 2021, when the markets were going crazy, and I would just get the most scammy ads. It was just like, I couldn't believe that these ads would make it through YouTube's like quality control process and stuff like that. You ever get those kinds of ads? I don't get them as much anymore, but it used to be like that all the time, right? But the other side of it is that that's one of the largest money generators on the internet. So like, if we made it so that there was just no advertising on the internet, there wouldn't be as much money in it, and you know, that's kind of what makes things go around. And then there's the other thing, which is like the cookies, like the tracking cookies. Oh my gosh. So like, I'll go to a website to like one of the things I've become interested in is watches lately. I don't know if I'm gonna buy another watch. I really like this Casio. If you go to skxmods.com, and you can like mod your Casios. So this is a Casio. They call it a Casino Royale because it kind of looks like a watch from a James Bond movie. And can I get it to focus on it? Yeah. And you can replace it with an all metal case and a sapphire crystal on the front so that it doesn't get scratched up. And I love this thing, and I think this will just always be my beater watch now because of that. And but anytime I see ads for watches, I usually will click on it, go to their website, and see what their watches look like, right? And if you go to their website and it asks you, you know, are you okay with tracking cookies or whatever the deal is, and you just accept the default cookies that it offers you, then you get more ads from those people, and you get more watch ads. So now, I no joke, I literally browse Instagram just to see what ads it sends me. Oh, I tell Google to block every mobile game or Temu ad I see. Oh my gosh. The Temu, so on TikTok, there's so many of these accounts that's like, they show you pictures and then they're like, I know how to make tons of money, scroll on to find more, and you get to the end of it and it's, oh, you should just, you know, start a Temu shop. Oh, I hate that stuff. And I didn't even really know like what Temu was. And then my wife bought a thing or two from it. I'm like, you think it's another Chinese data gathering app? It could be. I tell you what, though, there's a lot of people. Well, that's the thing that's so crazy about it, in my opinion, is that when you start giving people the incentive to go and promote it for you, like, people go ham with it. I've talked about doing that. We probably should do that. I feel like we've got like all of the people that you know we've had around for a long time thinking about using our indicator suite and everything have gotten in, and I am charging pretty cheap for it relative to what you get, and definitely relative to like everybody else in the space. I should look into finding a way to what is the word? Affiliatize it so that you know, if somebody goes and buys it and they put your email in or they use your link or something like that, you get like $50 or something like that. Because I really feel like our indicator suite has some important tools in it. I really don't understand how people trade without some of these things, like especially the dollar. Like I can't imagine that for such a long time I didn't really get a super clear view of what the dollar was doing, because for the last 2 years it's been such a dominant factor in the markets, right? But the reality is I'm just not very good at promoting it. It's a great suite. I just don't do a good job of promoting it. And I really need to switch things over because I know that there's people out there that would do a better job, and I need to enable them to be able to do that. I don't want ads for Chinese anything. Oh man. So that I don't know why this makes me go this way, but random segue, okay. At the debate, there was this whole thing, like, who was it that said that, like, China is still the largest threat we face? Because I really don't feel that that's the case. But I do have a chart up with the dollar index. The dollar index is the most important one. I honestly believe, so like, here's the thing. Because you can go out and you can find the formula for the dollar index, and you can try making your own indicator for it and everything. It's something that seems like really simple, and it actually ended up being not simple, especially to be able to add some of the extra little features that I added onto it, like like the having it be candles and the coloring, so that the candles that I've been watching live are colored differently from the ones that are historical. That was actually took a lot of work to figure out. I could probably sell that one thing for $100. Any rent? Oh, well, okay. Oh, that reminds me. Somebody asked me if I could do this for them, and I totally forgot about it. Oh, I should do that today. I think I'll have some time. So one of the things is I have like those free indicators, and one of the free indicators is the one that draws the watermark. And somebody asked me if it was possible to make it so that the watermark would draw on the sub indicator plot instead. And I should do that so that I can put here and it will say dollar index in bold letters so that everybody knows what it is. I don't know. There's some other indicators, like when I come over to here to these charts, I feel like that starts to get really overwhelming, and you have to go into a lot of detail to describe what they are and everything. So, another thing that I don't feel like I push enough, but even though it's free, but I really feel like it's important to push this one. And it does build like our mailing list, but not that I've ever used the mailing list for anything, but it does build the mailing list, is the free PDF, the free strategy PDF. I think I need to go through that PDF, and I had some ideas to spruce it up, like add some memes in it, make it a little bit more fun and interesting. But I really want to get that one out there. I really want that to be something that's like, when people post on the subreddit, and they're like, I want to trade, but I have no clue where to start. What do I do? And people will point them to that PDF document. That's the way that I feel like it should be. Because that's the most complete piece of content I've made that I think will help traders the most. If you haven't tried that, you go to speculatorseth.com/strategy.html, and you can put your email address in and it will email it to you. But you're right. I get more. I think I get more Jigsaw affiliate sales than I do indicator sales. Probably should be the opposite. So I guess I need to do a better job highlighting what we have. Yesterday helped me tilt 2 times by averaging down into 2 dips. Oh my gosh, Captain Price. I am so sorry. Because that was an ugly move. Well, yeah, I mean, you'll get away with that most of the time, but then the one time that you don't, it's devastating, right? That's why this is another, I don't know how to approach. This is one of the things in like my content, and I'll have different ideas of how to present certain ideas and certain language that I use to present those ideas. And that way, when it comes up, I can just kind of go into it unfiltered and say what needs to be said without having to pause or any of that a lot, right? And this is one of the places in my content where I feel like I haven't really gotten the words and so forth to explain it to people. But like the market, it has fat tails, right? And part of it is that it's just like random, that the probabilities are that you're going to get a fat tail at some point, right? But there also seems to be this thing that like the market knows, the market knows what you're all doing. It knows what sort of degenerate, inadvisable thing that people are doing. And it waits for just the right time when everybody's like really super prone, and then it will just go and destroy everyone. Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen where I backed, and this was one of the things that really kind of, I don't backtest a whole lot anymore. Earlier on, I spent a lot, like in 2020, I spent a lot of time backtesting. And after that, I haven't done as much. Part of that is because I've got this larger thing that I need to build to do these other kinds of backtests that I think would be more likely to be successful. So it's kind of like, well, what's the point of doing these other kinds of backtests? But the other thing that happened was that I would backtest it, and it seems great. And like the worst losing streak that you ever had was like 5 trades in a row losing, and everything about the drawdown and everything seems okay. And then you start trading it, and the anomaly just, it starts doing well. And as soon as you start to feel confident about it and like putting money into it, like the anomaly happens, and all of a sudden, and for me, I really set them up so that, I'm not going to have like one loss that destroys the account, right? But instead, what happens is you just get this freak losing streak where it loses like 10 times in a row, which is like almost like from all of the statistics, like if you were looking at the win rate and everything else like that, like the chances of it losing 10 times in a row are like so infinitesimally small, like it should never happen. And yet almost every time that I've gone in and I've done it, it happens. I'm telling you, the market knows it looks at what strategies are the most popular, and then it says, okay, let's look at the most popular one and just decimate it. That was 7. Well, okay, 700 isn't the end of the world. I mean, you should be able to keep going with 700, especially since you've been trading for a long time, and I know that you've had periods where you've made some real money. So, are you really back to only risking 1 tick, Uzi? Because you've got some really good runs before in the past. Yeah, well, it isn't, well, but I really appreciate you saying something and talking about it, because that's one of the things that I think have helped me the most, is like the humility that is involved to have to come in and admit that you took a big loss. I'm down 150 this month. I'm very unhappy. I'm very unhappy about it. It doesn't bother me to say that anymore. There was a time like 4 years ago where, I would take a big loss and you would all know it on the stream, but I didn't want to admit what it was. And then I would come back a few days and be like, yeah, it was like I lost $500 that day and whatnot, So hard to admit. It was so hard to admit. But like, swallowing your pride and doing it, it seems to doing it. I don't know why I said that way. I'm like I'm Italian or something. It does something to your brain. It does something to your soul, and it frees you in a way that I just can't explain. You know? Oh, only risk. Are you really only taking 1 tick stops? Really? So you know what that sound, I don't think that you guys are hearing it. Yeah, I'm only hearing it in the headphones, but that's this VTech thing. That's what's causing that. Trying. It's really hard. You know, there have been times in my trading where I feel like I've been very accurate. And every time that I catch a trade, it's immediately going in my favor. In fact, I would say that most of the time when I have a successful trade, it doesn't go against me very much. Like if I'm getting 10 ticks against me, I would say only 10% of the trades will go 10 ticks against me that actually were good and turned up and did well. So I think that my accuracy on that is pretty okay. But it used to be that I could catch the edge and on the micros never have it go against me at all. And as of late, especially here during the summer, it seems like as soon as I take an order, and I mean like literally nothing's happening, I put the order in and it immediately goes 2 ticks against me to pressure me. You've seen it too, right? It's been doing that a lot lately, and it's really hard for me to not feel like that the market is specifically trying to screw me up and trading against me, you know? Because the other thing is that, for instance, earlier in the week, when we had that good one, that happened, and then the large meta order comes in, and those guys get screwed so hard, and it's like a way more juicy trade because of it. So I guess in the long run, it's ultimately to my favor, but it does feel like that the robots in the micro try and trade against me. Because it'll be doing nothing. It'll be doing nothing, and then my order comes through, and all of a sudden they're down 5 ticks. What the heck? And during the period before the summer when we were really, really doing well, it was not like that. It was like if I hit into it, they would start going my way. It felt like orders were trying to follow me. Well, Treasury's just kind of all of a sudden turned down there. It's not until 12 that we actually get to the bottom of the extended session of this most recent range, you know, so that 14.5 is maybe not as big of a deal as it might seem. Yeah, I pair that with waiting for obvious signs of a meta order. In my eyes, the trade should immediately go. If it doesn't, my timing is off. Statistically, our timing is off nearly always anyways. Well, so this is the hard part of it, right? Is that if it is immediately going your way, the meta order has already started, and the amount of favorable excursion in it for you may not be as high, right? There's like this optimal period, and it's really, really hard to pinpoint. It's so obvious afterwards, but it's really hard to pinpoint where the order is coming in, but it hasn't had a whole lot of impact yet that you want to get in. But because we're trying to predict it, I don't think we should be surprised to see us be in 15 minutes early. right? Like if we're timing things right, there's like this 15-minute window around the optimal around the time in which the book has recovered that you will see them start the order again. But if we've been in it for an hour, it should have gone, right? We really think we have a meta order and we've been in it for an hour, it should go. Sometimes it's stubborn. There's definitely been times where I stuck in it for a long time and it did pay out, but oh, I never saw this. Oh no, I did see that. Okay, never mind. I was looking at my Discord, but I had missed a comment, but ugh. So they have this new feature where you can see like new members. Huh. Now that one's interesting. Oh, there it is. Okay. So one of the interesting things that I can do now is when somebody comes in and spams, I can try and see where they came from. Two pitfalls are trading too much, scratching too many trades, and scratching good trades early. It's imperative for all of us to not do, and two is going to be the cost of doing business. You're right. It really does. Like at the end of the day, when you're looking at like the actual performance, like those two things seem to make the biggest difference. Is not taking too many trades, and then when you do have a good trade, actually getting paid for it. And I feel like I've had a big problem where like the ones that don't go are the ones that I stay in forever and are a little bit disappointed in the end. And the ones that I take the quick profit are the ones that just keep going and going. And I'm like, why did I get out? Now that may just be me being like confirmation bias. But man, it sure feels like it sometimes. I always have to remember my catchphrase. The phrase I'm most proud of, and I don't say it as much on stream as I should, but being superstitious is bad luck. Right? Like anything that I think I'm seeing that's like, oh, you know, I wore this shirt and I started doing well, so maybe I need to just keep wearing that shirt. Anytime that my mind goes that way, I put a stop to it. It's like, okay, so then that means that next time I have to not wear that shirt because being superstitious is bad luck. Every trade is a wife for the oh. One of the things that I have found difficult lately. So there's two sides to this. Number one is that you can see when the meta order is starting to create a hole and is going to settle. So you can identify a very good profit-taking zone where, you know, it's not going to move very much for the next 45 minutes. And I think I've gotten really good at catching that. And most of the time, I think I would say I get out and I say, you see, look, it did create the liquidity hole. It either pulled back and I'm really glad it got out, or it's kind of going sideways. And, you know, that was a bit of drama that I didn't have to deal with. Right? But problem number one is there can be a second leg. And I haven't been as good at being able to predict when there's going to be a second leg. And the number two problem is that as of late, that behavior has been harder to detect. I think it's a summer market thing, but like the last time that we had a meta order like that, There was one time where it, like, that distribution just never happened, and it just kept going and going and going. That was that last big one that was like, what, last Friday, I think it was? Or it doesn't really form that distribution, or I don't see it, and it reverses hard and you miss it. And then, you know, you can lose it so quickly. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to be like, you have to be so patient. You're in it for like 30 minutes. It plays out exactly the way that you expect, but then you don't take the profit quickly enough, and so you hardly make anything from it. Frustrating. But like on the short time frames that we trade, that's kind of what happens. Yeah, the crazy thing is it's easy to see in theory when it happens. Yes. I think that when you're getting like the really crazy market and like everybody's kind of jumping on board something, it's a little bit different of a thing though. But on your average day, yeah, you can see it. It's time to get out, and it's easy peasy. And the crazy thing also to me is that for years and years and years, we were seeing these things happen, and we would make note of them, and we just hadn't really figured out what it was really all about, and like what the best way to take advantage of it was. Because, I mean, that's the devious thing about it, right? Is that what is really the best way to trade it? To already be in and get out at that point, right? Kind of counterintuitive. So I guess it makes sense why we would have had a hard time figuring that out on our own. Big meta orders still, for example, will have that heavy sell hits but weak ass buy hits on the way down. It's very easy to hit the bid with the volume immediately after a weak buy hit price. If the meta orders is there, it will go right after that. Oh, right. Like, you suspect the order is there, and then something happens that kind of like causes the trader managing that trade to have to panic. Yeah. Sometimes they can be awfully patient though. I had this thought. That's where that one tick is. Well, but aren't you kind of talking about an as she goes trade? That price where no one wanted to buy on the way down. I don't always take it as she goes. I definitely prefer to be as she goes. Well, because the problem with as she goes is it's hard to catch, especially in ZN, right? And I think that there's something to that. If you did catch it, you might need to be a little bit wary because if it's really that great of a trade, there should be a lot of people beating you to it, right? A lot of robots beating you to it. But based on our knowledge of the market, it seems to me that for our strategy, what we're trying to do, which is like to front run a large meta order, that it is to our advantage to use a market order and try and catch it as she goes. Or if not catching it as she goes, at the very least to use a market order, right? Because what you're doing is you're turning your order into impact that's going to push price. And I know that like maybe you're only one lot, but you know, like when you are sizing up and everything else like that, I think that's the way that you want it to go. Because if I was a big guy and I was trading 1,000 lots and I thought it was going to go, I want to hit into it with 1,000 lots and then hope that pushes them over the edge. Or something like that, you know. But I would have to know that like there's a lot of orders coming behind me, right? It seems to me that it is to your advantage to use the market order in that situation. I guess what you're talking about is maybe actually kind of like an after she goes, because you're saying like it goes down and somebody did bid it up at some point, but it was really weak, and then you hit it back after that. Yeah. Nemesis Turtle, good morning. Something that I used to really like to do, but I found it to be a pretty rare trade, and in fact, I feel like it's become more rare over time. Is like sometimes you'll be getting a really strong trend in one direction, and you'll get like this freak pullback of like 4 ticks out of nowhere, right? And then you just use that as an opportunity to go short again. That has resulted in some of the best early trades that I had taken, but it's kind of a rare thing now. I think my allergies are flaring up again a little bit today because I was sneezing a bunch. I feel itchy. We still got 45 minutes until Powell, by the way. Oh, and it's 7:13. So I want to take a break here just before we get to the S&P 500 opening. So I think that's a good time to insert another ad break. And then we get to find out in chat how many people, who's not getting the ad right now. You know what else is? Oh my gosh! See, no, I should wait. I'm gonna wait before I go into this rant. YouTube has ads. You must also have ad block. The YouTube live streaming thing has started to push really hard this like inserting ads. So it can insert the ads for you. But I didn't like that because yesterday it was like we came to I was like talking and it was like the best part, and then YouTube decided to insert an ad, and then like people tuned out after that. They didn't like that. And I hated that. So because we had been trying it all week with YouTube just trying it. And then so now I'm trying with it. I put them in. Twitch is horrendous for ads. Well, it seems to me it makes a lot of sense for the streamer to take control of it because there are natural breaks in there, you know? Like from my perspective, okay, the disadvantage of putting an ad in is that less engaged viewers take that as a good stopping point to go and watch something else. True. But if I put those ads in the natural breaks where people were going to do that anyways, I don't think that I'm missing out on anything. And it does seem to me that YouTube is trying to incentivize us to do it. It seems to me, I could be wrong, but it seems to me like YouTube is sending us more people because we're putting the ads in the stream. I don't really have enough data to know that yet, but a theory I have. My theory is that I think that YouTube may actually increase the amount that it shows you if you're putting ads in. So we'll see. So I put one in there. You guys should be coming back now. I think it's been a minute. No. So something that I'm running into a lot is there's just too many things to keep track of. You know, like I have a hard time staying organized and staying motivated. Oh my gosh, like the staying motivated part is really frustrating sometimes. It's like, you know what you're supposed to be doing, but it's like you're just frozen and you can't even start because like the chemical support in your brain is just not there at that time. But I'm running more and more into this thing that's like, there's so many things that you want to do and that you feel like you should be doing, and there's just too many of them to keep track of them all. Like, even if you were just this amazing person, there's no way you could keep track of them all. And I guess I could write them all down on a piece of paper, but even then I would probably forget. Because I could come in here and I could be like, okay, here's something that we want to talk about. Here's something that we need to mention every stream. Here's, you know, like I should probably mention the links in the video description every day. Regularly, probably every 30 minutes I should probably mention them. I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, to me personally, I don't really care. But if we're really trying to do the thing that's like the best for the stream and the community in the long run, I should be mentioning those things every 30 minutes, right? Okay, so it's like, mention the links in the video description, put ads in. I don't know what the other things are that we all need to keep track of. But like, there's just too much stuff. There's just too much stuff. Having that same problem in other parts of my life, like, you know, I'm really trying to save a ton of money. And man, when you go down into the monthly budget of a household with 7 people, it's too much data to track it all. There's just so many things to keep track of. So like, something that happened this month that really irritated me. I mean, it was no big deal because unexpected expense comes in, I can afford it. It's not a big deal, but it's just, it frustrates me that like I didn't know about it ahead of time and was able to plan that into my earlier plans, and so I kind of had to shift some other things. Like, it really frustrated me. And it's just because there's too many. So this time it was Asher went to the dentist because he refuses. He's autistic and he will not brush his teeth, and so his teeth got bad. You have a toddler go into the dentist. It was not cheap, by the way. But I should have known. I should have known that we'd have to pay a bit for it, and I just didn't plan it. So I had to shift some other stuff back. It's okay. It's okay though. But I just running into that everywhere, man. Too much stuff to keep track of. I do like though. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this yesterday, and I couldn't really do it. So I got this notebook. Let me show you this notebook. Where I forget who it's from. What is the name of this notebook? Doesn't even have the brand at the beginning of it. Oh, Vivid Scribbles. Vivid Scribbles. So it's this purple. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that looks beautiful. In the camera catches the color. Oops, wrong scene. Catches the color so well. Right? The words notebook are like gold embossed in it. They have different colors. This one is like purple. I think the other ones are like solid colors, but they have like a pattern of like a dragonfly or whatever it is. They're all girly things. I mean, look, I'll admit it's pretty girly looking. Even like, okay, so you see the inside cover. It's got like butterflies. But like you know, and I got like Sakura pens to write on it. So, oh my gosh, it looks so clear on the camera, even on the camera. Because like normally if I held something that I had written on a piece of paper or whatever and held it up to the camera, it might be hard to see it. Yeah, when is your sweet 16? It's so funny. Like, it's because when I got it, my wife made fun of me for it being so girly. I am not afraid to have something that's girly. I am not at all. I think it's kind of funny, I guess. I don't know. I find it amusing. You know, because especially with all of the things that are going on in culture, it's like, hey, guys, just because the best stationery is designed for Japanese women doesn't mean that you're transgender, okay? It just means that I like good stationery, okay? It's the same with the mouse. The mouse is pink. I love you know that pink used to be like a boy color. Like 100 years ago, they would dress little boys in pink because it was like an aggressive color. I like it. It's an aggressive color. Like it stands out, and I like that. I don't know if I have like a favorite color, and I am a little bit colorblind in like the purple spectrum, because I'm one of those guys where my I think it's the blue. No, it's not the blue. It's the green. I think it is, or the red. I don't know which one it is. It's the most common type of color blindness, actually. Because I think it's so weird. Like, the most common type of color blindness is like one of the most difficult to understand, and is not the example that they always use to describe color blindness and like how it happens and stuff. Oh, we should probably bring the DOMs back up. So like, but it's one of the types of cones is tuned to a slightly different wavelength than everybody else, and that results in difficulty in differentiating certain browns and purples. So I'm slightly colorblind, but I really like vivid colors. This is so vivid, and I hate if I can bring this one up and bring back over here. So here's my old notebook. I've turned this one into a scratch. So like if there's something I need to write down and I'm like unsure about putting it in pen, I'll write it over here first. So when you look at this one, yeah, you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it. It's blue. It's harder to read. If I come over to these ones where I did the blacks, like this, your regular pen, difficult to read, doesn't show up as well compared to Sakura pen. Oh yeah, sharp, vivid. You can absolutely read it there on the camera. Oh, I like it. And so I'm trying to write things down and use that to organize things a little bit better, but it's hard. It's hard. Have pink polos. I like to wear pink polo. I've been trying to keep my eye out for like good quality clothing brands. Just haven't really stumbled upon the thing that really catches my attention for whatever reason. So I think one of the problems is apparently polos are out. Apparently polos are out because polos are really kind of come from golf, and golf was, you know, the most popular man's sport for boomers, but millennials and Gen Z don't really care for golf. And so there's kind of this cultural thing, like golf polos are out. Whatever. I feel so one of these things where like I see on TikTok all the time, Gen Z are like, yeah, millennials think that their fashion is so cool, but it's just lame and old. No. That's not what it is. That's not what it is, kids. Okay. It's just that we stopped caring because we saw the fashion styles go all the way around. Like we've seen the whole cycle where it was like bell-bottom jeans, skinny jeans, mom jeans, you know, going through all these stuff, and now we're retreading them. We're back to mom jeans. We started with mom jeans in the 90s. We're back to mom jeans now, and we're like, oh, this is all just BS, and we just gave up on trying to keep up with it. You just get good clothing, and you just keep wearing that, you know, and not worry about this trying to be whatever is in style because it's not worth it. Unless you're like an A-list celebrity in Hollywood, it's just like not worth trying to keep up with it. But having good quality materials, that matters, and I just haven't found the thing that catches my eye. Let's see here. 4 minutes to the S&P 500 open. Have a pre-recorded blurb and play it? Oh, you're talking about like, we should mention the links in the video description and make sure we insert ads and stuff. Yeah. I like to use sticky notes. And I was putting sticky notes on my monitor, but my son would like take them off. So I stopped doing that. That monitor is really hot for some reason. What's with that? Wonder if this monitor is just going. Looks like it's where the little chip OSD thing is. So I saw this. Oh my gosh. There's this new monitor coming out. Because we have like 27-inch monitors, right? Or I have 27-inch monitors, and I think that makes the most sense for traders trying to have multiple screens up. There are 32-inch monitors out there. I don't see how you would pull off the multiple monitor thing with a 32-inch monitor, but they're out there. Well, there's this new one coming out, and I think it's from Asus, but I can't remember. And it's a 32-inch 4K 240 hertz OLED display. Doesn't that sound insane? That sounds like such a crazy cool monitor. And here's the thing. They had to turn like the entire back of the monitor into a giant heatsink to be able to have the pixel density. You run multiple ultra wide. You mean like when you say ultra wide, you mean like the like the big Samsung Odysseys or something like that? Have you heard of Obsidian for note taking? No, what is that? Obsidian note taking. Obsidian stores notes on your device. You can access. Well, okay, it's digitizing it. You know what? I use Evernote for things that like I want to have on me all the time and remember. Like I want or I'm going to change it around a lot. I will either use Evernote or there's an app called To Do on my phone. So like lists of things that I would like to buy eventually, for instance. I'll put those on a to-do list in my phone, or books I want to read, or that sort of thing. And when I'm making notes about like which videos I want to do, or I'm writing parts of videos, and I put that in Evernote, which I should take a look at Obsidian because it looks like pretty much exactly the same as Evernote. I don't know. It looks like Obsidian has pricing too. $50 free for personal use, $50 per year for commercial or license. Doesn't sound like they actually give you too much in the way of features. I'm kind of getting fed up with Evernote because of the ads and prompts that it gives me. Like every time I want to pull something up on my phone, they're like, "Hey, do you want to try the free trial? Or are you sure you're never going to have this happen again?" Yeah, you've only prompted me to do it like 20 times. Ugh, I hate it. The other thing I like is that it's just markdowns. Yeah. But I'm really into physical things. That probably sounds like really naughty. But like watches. Like the amount of care that goes into a watch is just insane. It's just insane. And I really appreciate people that put in the work to make an art out of something that has a high attention to detail, and you go through multiple different processes in order to get that product into the form that you want. And it really is like true luxury, in my opinion, these days. True luxury is custom and hand done. Everything is so mass produced. I think it's so funny that that people think an Apple phone is a luxury item. Everybody has one, guys. They're mass produced. There's nothing luxury about it. And silence. The other great luxury is silence. I'm one of those people that I just can't help but yap. Like, I don't feel myself. I don't feel happy if I don't have some place to go and yap my thoughts out to the world. To the world. I used to obsess over watches, and then I got an Apple Watch. Ugh. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, though. Is like, okay, this is an Apple Watch, but like, an Apple Watch is not as cool as a real watch, man. Because like especially mechanical watches, you know, like, have you ever watched these videos where people will clean and restore damaged watches? It is crazy. And because you're pulling out like hundreds of parts, like all of these little gears, hundreds of parts that they pull apart and that they have to clean and stuff. And then the materials that they're made out of, there's the quality, because it's not just like, oh, you have, you know, stainless steel, but then there's like hardened steels and or it can be gold. And like when you're talking about Rolex, for instance, you know, like they make their own materials, and they're like custom materials so that they have the exact qualities that they want, you know. And then they'll do crazy processes to them. Like, you have this teeny tiny little piece of metal that has the gears and so forth on them. And they're doing like these different types of finishes on them. Like they do these little like circle things on them and polish it with little circles, for instance. Or it just gets crazier and crazier with watches. And that's why watches can turn out so expensive. And I feel that what has happened is we've entered into a digital world where you can have everything. Like, you can really do anything digitally, especially now that you've got like 3D printers, right? You can do everything digitally. I really feel that we should take extra time to appreciate custom, handmade, manual, non-digital things. I think it would be a great loss for humanity if those things just went away. You know, like if people didn't make mechanical watches anymore, I think that would be a great loss for humanity. I think that we should continue to make them and continue to try and push the technology and just keep it all digital. You know, not even using a quartz watch, not even using quartz. Well, this is obviously, this is quartz and this is digital, but you know, I really think that we should appreciate those things. And not only that we should appreciate those things, but I think that everybody should have a hobby of some sort that's along those lines. You're making something that's custom, handmade, that you can't just go and buy. You might be able to go and buy something that fits the purpose and maybe even does it better, because you're like, oh, you know, an Apple Watch. Well, yeah, there is extra functionality that you get from the Apple Watch. I'm not convinced that it actually benefits your life that much, but you can do more with the Apple Watch, sure. But I still think that we should keep the manual things alive, and I think that there's something almost therapeutic to the soul when you create. The other thing with the Apple Watch is that, you know, it's so that you can get notifications on your wrist. That's annoying and or rude. But I do like, I appreciate a good watch. This watch is, you know, after you do the mods and everything, it's maybe like $150, $200. Okay, so this is not an expensive watch, right? But I would be way more interested. I see a guy with a watch like this on his wrist rather than an Apple Watch. Are you concerned by Powell speaking at the top of the hour? What do you mean by concerned? The truth is, I really don't have the faintest clue what he's going to say. But I do find it curious that it seems like the market has been taking profits and preparing itself as though it's going to be a negative event. It does seem like that. So I guess from that perspective, you could say that I am, quote, concerned. I think I just need to build a Faraday cage around my focus, right? Oh, I don't think anybody knows. Yesterday's sell-off was quite unexpected. Yeah, well, one thing that I can note did happen was there at 4,400 or so, I think that there was some kind of gamma levels. And so I think that the CTAs kind of all piled in and started going short, and that's why it went so far yesterday. Like basically the options and everything were like just perfectly, it was kind of this thing that we've been saying, that like the way that things are set up, you could still have another bull run and like squeeze. But if they here's far enough on the downside, it will get ugly once you get into the areas where there's negative gamma, and the market will just get crushed. So, but that doesn't explain the catalyst for like why they started selling at the beginning and why they did it so hard. I suspect that some of it may have just been profit taking in Nvidia, like because honestly, just absolutely blowout earnings. The forward guidance was bigger than any of the whispers on the street. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. And so it makes a lot of sense for some discretionary funds to take some of their money out of Nvidia. I don't know if that means it's an all-time high, and this is what we're talking about yesterday, is that like usually this is like, the stock declines from there and it never comes even close to the levels that are at. But I'm not so sure that's going to be the case for Nvidia. But yeah, Nvidia sold all day and ended the day negative after the earnings. So, that's maybe one clue that it is profit taking. Because, yeah, the market does seem to be treating this Powell event as like a big market risk that could be negative for the markets. Oh, hold on a second. I had the speakers on still. AMD did the same. So this is where I need to write some things down, right? So, where's my other pen? I also had to get me one of these, this hard case for the pens, so that when the kids come into my room, they don't find them. Really, another thing that I kind of need to look at again. Well, I looked at it. I'm not going to do anything right now, but maybe in a month or two, I need to look again at getting one of those new Rode audio interfaces. I want to go to the, this is so dumb, but I'm still kind of attached to this idea of, you know, that I need to have 2 microphones. I don't know if I actually need to. I don't ever use both of them, but I need to get one of those things so that I have a mute button. Yeah, Powell is in about 20 minutes. Yes, at the top of the hour. And I'm not entirely sure what the deal will be in terms of, like, we get the full text ahead of time and all of that. My recollection was last time around that we got that text before the actual speech, like minutes, several, like 5 or 10 minutes before the actual speech. Trump, you know, it's funny. I should talk about this. You just to remind him, because you talked about Trump, but there was something political that we got to talk about. Oh my gosh. I started going into this Vivek. Am I saying that right? Vivek Ramaswamy, who was kind of a center figure in the debate the other day. You say yes. Okay, that's good. And there are a lot of fans of him out on the internet, or at least it seems that way. Maybe they're robots. I'm always suspicious about that sort of thing when I start to notice all of a sudden a bunch of people. Because, like, if it's a trend, if it's all organic, it should, like, start slow and, like, slowly grow. But, like, when it's just all of a sudden one day everybody's like, Vivek Trump, I'm just like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I start doing more research on this guy. Do you know how he made his money? Oh my gosh. This is one of those stories about the market that pisses me off. So the way that he made his money is he was in the pharmaceutical industry, and he went and he bought this pharmaceutical company that had an Alzheimer's drug. And this Alzheimer's drug had been through clinical trials and failed 4 times in a row. But for some reason, they thought that they knew what the problem was and that they were going to fix it. And, you know, if this Alzheimer's drug worked, it would be like one of the most miraculous drugs of all time. And so Vivek was out there saying, like, you know, this is going to be the largest gain, largest profit for a pharmaceutical drug in the history of ever. So after buying the drug on the cheap, he went and created a company and IPO'd it. And for some reason, it just like took off and became a Wall Street darling. They raised hundreds of millions of dollars on the IPO, and the stock did well out in the market. Meanwhile, this company that he started literally has like 8 employees, and one of them is his mom and one of them is his brother. Okay. And that's this company out on Wall Street trading and people making a ton of money. And so because it did so well, and there's this deal with a company, another company and everything, he got all of his profits out. Like, he was able to cash out on that thing, okay, and make tons of money cashing out on the stock. And then a few months later, the drug failed clinical trials for the 5th time and fell 75% in one day. Can you believe that? So now I kind of had my suspicions, but now I can see it, because the thing that really stood out to me was like the first thing he did was he introduced himself. Okay, cool. Next thing he did is he said, it's easy. We just energy independence, close the border, these, you know, he listed off like 6 or 7 different things and said, it's easy. We just do these things and then everything will be fine. Okay. That is the biggest red flag a politician can give you, because it is never that easy. And so they're saying that they are either naive or they are trying to pull the wool over your eyes. And Vivek sounds like a pretty smart guy. So I think it is the latter. And then I found all of this stuff out about, you know, what his actual experience in the industry was. That this guy is a charlatan, is what he is. He's a charlatan. I apologize. I should have warned you guys. I should have warned you guys to put on the rubber boots, because we were going to go and roll around in the mud a little bit. But you know, people were saying, like, you know, Is he a threat? Well, I think he kind of is a threat to the GOP, because I don't think it's going to end well for him. One of the things that's going on is there's an employee that worked at that company that said that Vivek was basically asking him to commit securities fraud. And Vivek is just saying, they're just coming after me because I'm running for president or something like that. Okay, like he is a charlatan, and so the risk that he poses is that it's not going to end well for him. He's going to look really bad in the end, and the Republicans are going to look bad if a large portion of people are supporting him. That's the real risk. Is the more popular he gets among the GOP, the dumber the GOP will look when he falls. That's what I think. So he pumped and dumped the stock, basically. Yeah. He pumped and dumped, and then when the pharmaceutical trial didn't succeed, the stock lost 75. Can you believe that? That is so insane. 75% in one day. So that's what I learned about Vivek yesterday. Probably I make some more TikToks about it because, I find so frustrating is that it used to be that if I put a video out and I get 5 comments on the video, that TikTok would start pushing it out. And now it doesn't happen. I'll get all of the engagement metrics and everything are perfect, but it doesn't send it out to the wider audience. Oh my gosh, I was reading that comment and then they deleted it. It sounded like an interesting question. That Saf was putting in. Viveki? Wait, you say Vivek? Last part rhymes with cake. Vivek? Are you saying it should be Vivek? I was wondering why all my classmates, even though we take economics, are staunch socialists. So there's 2 things going on here, in my opinion. From what I've seen, I don't know if I'm the expert because I've never been to economics school. Okay, but a university where they teach economics, that is. But one thing is that the kids and the people at the university just trend liberal and trend quote unquote socialist in general. Okay, but I think another problem that we have in our society is that we kind of created this myth in the Reagan years that's not accurate. It was useful. It was a useful myth. It's a good approach to the world, but it's not strictly true. That myth is that the market is efficient and perfect. It's not. And so anybody that really gets serious into the world of finance, especially if you are getting into, you are a market practitioner where you're executing trades. This is one place where I think it's very, very obvious this is going on. And another part where it seems very, very obvious this is going on is if you're into the economics and the macroeconomics side, right? You very quickly realize that a lot of the models and things that we're using are the best tools that we have available at the time, but are kind of nonsense. And so to come in and say, just let the market handle it and have control over everything like libertarians believe is incredibly foolish. And so people that get into those fields start to fall into this trap of well, we need to fix it, and I can come in and create the perfect system to control it, sort of a thing. So it goes from realizing the world is not really what you were taught as a child, and it very quickly turns into hubris, right? Well, if the government just had control over everything to stop any time that things were going bad, then everything would be perfect. Well, no, because one of the things that causes the most problems and the most inefficiencies in the market is that government intervention. So we kind of have to strike a balance between letting the market do its thing and being able to understand the risks and be able to step in when necessary. And that doesn't mean that we should just let it fall apart and then only step in after things have fallen apart. That's another thing that drives me crazy, is that they don't really have the resources necessary to go after all of the grifters and charlatans in the economy right now. But so that's my opinion, at least, on why you see a lot of that. The market sets the game and the politicians just follow. Well, the issue is that politicians can have policies that will have strong effects on different industries. So the market absolutely cares who's president. And it probably is the case that if Donald Trump was elected to be president, that the market would probably rally. Probably. Let's see here. We got 7 more minutes, 6 more minutes. I think I should go to an ad break here real quick before the Powell speech, okay? I do not have Thomas Sowell. I need to buy some Thomas Sowell books. You know what? I buy the books with the stream income. So I've been saving up because maybe we want to buy some hardware. Maybe we want to put some money in for an investment. But I also do need to put a little bit into buying some books. Market is more complicated than a few half-witted politicians. When is the laptop video coming out? Are you talking about the one about the laptop dock? It needs to be in like the next 3 weeks. I did quite a bit of writing yesterday on that one. So, I think should be able to maybe record that tomorrow. Hopefully. Slacker, I know. I've been struggling with, well, so like yesterday, because I went to bed so late the night before, I really struggled yesterday, like getting anything done. If I don't sleep, it's really hard for me to get anything done. And one of the things is like when I get the ball rolling and I'm finishing something, and then like I want more. I want more because, you know, I'm not used to having that reward, and the Adderall does give me that reward. But it's like getting it started sometimes is really hard. But I did write a bunch of it yesterday, so I want to get that done. I want to get like these next 3 videos out and just like out of the way because I feel guilty about not having them for you guys. It's actually a really cool piece of kit. So for you guys that have laptops and you're trading off of your laptop and want to connect it to a multi-monitor keyboard and mouse kind of setup, this is probably the best thing you can get. Okay, News Squawk was just noting that the live feed for the speech does not appear to be available yet. Okay, and the News Squawk is also pointing out that there will be a text release, but not a Q&A. So this should be something where the market will just react when the text is released. And we don't have to sit through this whole, like, you know, as he talks, it changes and that sort of a thing. Cool. So when that happens, that can make it hard for us because that's a large amount of information that we need to digest all at once. And the market's going to be moving when it happens, right? Anyways, the thing I was going to say, and we'll say just before Powell comes out here, is that I really do feel like one of the problems that we have in Western society right now is our leaders. I don't feel like that any of our leaders are really very strong, are really very admirable, and I can kind of see the cultural rot that it's creating. And that is kind of coloring my view on the presidential race, because I am kind of starting to turn around and I'm like, well, you know, the person that we select to be president needs to be the kind of person that inspires people through his actions. That's not the two people that are most likely to be the nominees. Okay, so ain't gonna happen. Well, the other question would be though, if we were to take that as the primary metric through which we wanted to select our president, who, as of the current running candidates, would be the actual best candidate for that? So I'll take Vivek. That's a weird name. Okay. Sometimes Indian names are hard for me to figure out and pronounce. But I think he's out of the running for that one. Mike Pence, you think it's Mike Pence? Could be Mike Pence. He's definitely up there at the top, isn't he? Well, if status quo is what you want, yeah, probably. You know, somebody was asking me the other day, why is he even running? Well, because if you want a staunch religious conservative with conventional foreign policy, that's him. He's the only game in town. I think that Mike Pence is running because he feels an obligation to, because he thinks that he's the only person, really viable candidate right now to provide the thing that he thinks is going to be the most important for the country. I think that's why he's running, even though he knows it's a long shot, and he's taking it very seriously. And that means a lot to me. It does. So let's see here. I don't know if it's going to be like right at the top of the hour, but they are polling for it. I don't think I can trade this because the micros are just like have no liquidity. Oh, we got University of Michigan numbers. I forgot. Sentiment finals 69.5 versus 71.2. 5-year inflation is 3 versus 2.9, and 1-year inflation is 3.5 versus 3.3. So that is something that normally would cause the treasuries to sell. But they're waiting for Powell. They all know they're going to lose. Maybe just I don't think that they actually do believe that, to be honest with you. So something shifted between the beginning of the summer and now, because I definitely saw a different demeanor in most of those candidates. For instance, with Vivek, I really, because people are saying, they're going after him because he's the biggest threat. He's the most likely to win or the most likely to become VP or whatever. And that's why they're attacking him. I don't think that's what it is. I think that they see him as a threat to the GOP, that they know about his background and they know that like him garnering a widespread support would make the party look really bad. Right. And like that's this thing that I feel like has kind of changed, is like there's this demeanor among the candidates that was not there before, that was like they're taking this very seriously and they're putting everything that they have into it, even though it looks like a long shot. There really seems to me to be like this solemn sense of responsibility, especially with Pence. But I see it with Christie too. Like Christie, he knows he's not going to win. Christie knows he's not going to win. Okay, here we're coming in. So one thing I just heard on there that really stood out to me is that he said that the Fed will not change the 2% target, because everybody keeps trying to say that they should change it to 3%. So when I saw that, my first instinct was, let's go along with it because it sounds hawkish and the market is selling. But look, that whipped all the way back. This is probably too dangerous for me to trade. Man, look at what the dollar has done, but it looks like at the moment that the dollar is getting crushed. So are they reading this as dovish? The S&P 500 sure seems to like it. The dollar is getting killed. You can't make the Republican Party look worse. I think he can. Okay, so like right now, those of us in the Republican Party, like we believe in the values and everything, and we know that there are people that are a little, that are crazy and are maybe counterproductive to our goals. But, that's always going to be the thing, right? I feel like that this Vivek thing could just completely undermine Republican culture and make everybody in the party question, like, what the heck are we doing here? Why, because our base is so gullible. Like, I think it could be a big problem. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people don't care as much about that stuff as I do, but trying to think, the other person that's out there though that I think is really serious is Nikki Haley, right? But Nikki Haley could be a good role model too. Potentially, just because she's a woman, she could have a more significant cultural impact. I don't know if she would be better than Pence or not. I think that's a hard call. But I think that those are my top two runners for sure. Wish I had more options. Surely almost anybody other than Biden would be better, but man. Okay, so it came back. I'm not entirely sure what to make of this, if this means that it's a nothing burger, because I didn't see anything in these red bubbles that are popping up. I'll read them for you. Persistent above trend growth could warrant tightening. The Fed is prepared to raise rates further if appropriate. Sees July PCE at 3.3 and core at 4.3. We are prepared to raise rates further if appropriate. We intend to hold rates at a restrictive level until confident inflation is moving sustainably down to 2%. Policy is restrictive, but the Fed can't be certain what the neutral rate is. The Fed is attentive to signs the economy is not cooling as expected. Fed is mindful of monetary policy risks on both sides. We need some further progress on non-housing services inflation. I see evidence inflation is becoming more responsive to labor markets. Lowering inflation also likely to require softer labor markets. Signs the job market not cooling could also warrant more Fed action. Like, I'm not seeing anything surprising in that. I'm not quite sure. Trump returns to Twitter after his Georgia booking? What? I don't know, man. Now I'm really getting this static. I need to build a Faraday cage for my audio interface. Wasn't long, it was positive, yes. Yeah, the way the market is moving around here is really odd. I am terrified to trade this, so I'm going to try trading this on Sim here, because the comments do seem hawkish to me, and I am starting to see a little bit of a turn down. So I'm going to try building a tiny position here. And that's annoying. The FBI is listening to me again. Go away, FBI. Thank you. Very interesting how the S&P 500 there like turned back down. Well, so far not going so hot. But this is why I did it on Sim. It's like, I feel the need to get involved, but it's scary, so. Well, it is settling back down here. Maybe we're going to get really lucky. So far, though, I think what's been the favorable ticks on this? 1. I got 1 favorable tick, really? Jeez. Jeez. Well, that's better. Come on. Yeah. Okay. It's like trading the spoos. It kind of is, isn't it? Or it's like trading the spoos back in the day before the pandemic, where you could hold a 4-tick stop, right? My babies are still asleep, I think. It's good. Oh, I don't like that, though. I don't like that coming up there. E-mini flipping back around. Well, the dollar is just crazy here. We need to zoom in on this because it's looking like all of the shifts are perfectly synced with the dollar. Yeah, it's Sim. It's a Sim. I'm looking over here at the rates though, and seeing us like at right on the edge of 421 has me a little bit like, really? Really? I'm not sure that one computes. POC zone. Everything is dangerous here. Like we're in a illiquid high volume market. No other way around it. Even though the S&P 500 is on a bull run right now, it's not clear to me that this is like just a clear winner. You know, like, do you really jump on that? I'm not sure you do. Could be one of those. I mean, I guess there's a lot of risk to it that, you know, maybe there is a good winner in it. Because, who knows, 44.20 right now. You know, what would be like a realistic number on the upside? You could maybe start retracing a big portion of yesterday's moves. Although there's most likely going to be some resistance in this 25 area. So I'll keep an eye on that. Or let's not say some resistance, but I think that people are going to have some curiosity at 44.25, let's say. Treasury proposes new crypto tax rules. Brokers will have to report crypto gains to taxpayers and the IRS. Yeah, if they started taxing Bitcoin, like, it would be really bad for them because there's not actually a lot of real money in there. They wouldn't all be able to pull their money out to pay them. Well, that looks like I'm going to stop out of this one, doesn't it? Okay, so took the loss. Look at this in the micros. Do you see this? Like, no trades. They've gone down. I've never seen that before. Like, the bid and the offer have breached the lows and nobody's trading it. Well, Powell has already finished his speech. So maybe the call here is that because his speech was kind of nonchalant, it means no significant change in Fed policy. He just gave like the how do you say, you know, the one that he's obligated to give to start the conference, you know? Are micros dumps? Well, if you're going to be executing over there, then definitely, but if you're not executing down there, I don't think it matters too much. Definitely came back in a big way there, though, doesn't it? They're like, okay, Seth gave up on his sim trade. We can trade down now. You had 23 half marked on your... No way. Just to see if the low volume node from yesterday would act as a reason. Oh, mm-hmm. I really hope that when I take this baby monitor out, that the buzzing that I'm hearing in my headphones goes away, because that's annoying. I don't know, guys. I'm really tempted to pull the account out and trade this as a reversal, but that seems really foolish to me to do. Well, that one's going a little bit better. Orange to excursion. How did I... Okay, whatever. Whatever. I'm kind of feeling like a lot of this is volatility for volatility's sake. That's why I was thinking, like, so let's just remember, okay? 423 was the spot that I kind of thought, well, maybe I can do it. I don't think I see strong evidence of like a clear meta order though, right? Like there's volatility, the liquidity is pulling and letting it move around, but I'm not seeing like an imbalance, like, you know, they're coming in and buying rates or vice versa. It's just like the dollar is sloshing around and everything's reacting to that. So the comments seem hawkish to me, so that's why I'm trying the sim trade. You think the dollar will move up? Nick Timmeros, the Fed Chair Jay Powell's word of the day, carefully, a risk management speech. Given how far we have come at upcoming meetings, we are in a position to proceed carefully. Hey, here's Brannigan Barrett's comment. The Fed is not sure where the neutral rate is. They also are concerned about the lack of cooling in the economy. Taken together, they are telling you that policy may not be as restrictive as they thought. The best thing about being a seasoned trader is knowing when to sleep and not... Yeah. I don't know. The thing that I think is the most difficult thing that I deal with is that I feel like I've gotten to the point where I often have a pretty good idea. At least I'm very proud of where I've come from in terms of knowing when to trade and knowing when not to trade. But I will still end up taking trades when I know I shouldn't. Sometimes the temptation I just can't resist, you know? And that's a good time to pull out the sim account. But then what happens is I'll start winning on the sim account and then I'm like, oh, I should have traded it live, you know? Like, it's hard. It's very hard. You know, like the reality is that once you understand the market, you understand why things go the way that they go, then it really does become a mental game. And that mental game is a very difficult challenge to overcome. I don't think those orders up there are going to get filled. What the heck? Are they trolling here? So I just saw a story from The Hill. Reporter asking MTG Marjorie Taylor Greene, has the former president asked you to be his running mate? The president will pick whom he chooses for his running mate. Right now, I'm serving Georgia's 14th congressional district. MTG has not made up her mind on whether she'll run for Senate in 2026, but she did express interest in the vice presidency in an August interview with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. That would be so crazy if she was chosen to be VP. They've got to be trolling her, right? They're trolling her, right? News Squawk says Powell done, LaGuard up next. Wait, did I miss something? That LaGuard is supposed to be going too? Let's see here. Oh, yes. At 3 o'clock Eastern time, so an hour before the market closes, ECB's LaGuard will be speaking at the Jackson Hole Symposium. You know what? So keep in mind, like, the market is moving off of Powell here for sure, right? But just keep in mind that we've got Fed speakers all day. The top of the hour, we'll have Harker. 30 minutes from that, we'll have Mester and Harker again. Goolsby, Mester. Like, it's just all day. So be advised if you're going to try and swing something or hold it all day, that there could be all sorts of wild and crazy things happen in the meantime, right? Yeah, so it's really not, I mean, this is a market where you might be able to get some technical trades based off of the order flow, right? But it's a very risky market, so it's probably not worth trying to do it. That's why I'm doing it on Sim. You can see there, I only put that order there because it was the edge of a profile, and it was also $500 profit for me. And they came down to it, but they didn't get filled. Big delta buy in the 30-minute. Well, when you look at the market since the news, like it was a buy for like the first 3 minutes, but then since then it's been flat. So, yeah. Oh, they decided they're not gonna let me get filled again. You're just gonna go without me? Come on. Never let me have any fun. No, should I be proud of this trade? I lost $500 on it. Took the loss, flipped around, doubled down on it again, made that up. A little bit in profit now. Would love to make 1,000, but I don't think that would be difficult. Where did I save 423? Wish I had hit back on it when it was down here. There's no way I would have done that. That was so dangerous. But when they were down there and like none of the retail traders were trading it and everything, that, you know, I could have made an intuitive call that that's a reversal part. But you say proud of the fake money, but not of the trading process, though. Okay. Well, because what I'm saying is, I kind of think that I got lucky. Like, I don't know if I'm actually making sense of this or not. I mean, it feels like it is because it is going my way, but I may have just gotten lucky. Yeah, you shouldn't have to lose $500. Yeah, it's true. Especially like come back and look at it on the chart, man, because it's like, so I was in somewhere like here. I was going short somewhere right here. Didn't go, stopped out, got back in. Now I'm making money. So like, was it really a great trade? Was it really a great trade? Was it just luck? But I'm having a hard time seeing them bust the lows here now and not be involved, especially since there was 425 looked so juicy. Maybe I will do. If I get that, I'll take the other contract off and then just let it ride. Those candles are thick. Look at the dollar. Look at the dollar bust 104 and soar higher. This looks like a dangerous place to trade still. So there is a little bit of a pullback there. I don't know if that volume that traded there is enough to cause me that much concern or not. They sure, after they busted through 10, they sure just like puked though, didn't they? Was this based on something that Powell said? Maybe? Well, okay, so the full text of his speech was released at the top of the hour. So, like, everything has just been post-reaction. It wasn't like there was another piece of information that we got, if that's what you're asking. But, you know, my take from his comments were slightly hawkish, but it was kind of like, this is a nothing burger, but is slightly hawkish. That's why I said, well, you know, we can just try playing the market here and going that direction and taking a gamble on it, and it's working out. And that's how I did that. That's why I'm saying, like, I think that there's probably a large degree of luck on this one. Oh, and by the way, they just bust lower again, so I guess the volume at 08 and 08 half wasn't really doing anything anyways. And, you know, this is the kind of market that could just, like, keep going, you know? Well, the markets didn't seem to like that. Yeah. I don't know, man. I have to say, where the treasuries, what they were doing at the highs was awfully peculiar. It really was like they were going long and didn't want to do it. And then when they got up there to that highs, it was just like, all desire to trade it had disappeared. And then when it flipped back down, it did so aggressively. Now, I think that we should have some caution here still. So I want to point something out for you, okay? There was, on the initial move, we'll bring this a little bit over here. There was a rising cumulative delta on the piece of news, right? We have now seen that news disappear, right? This has disappeared. So this move right here could be endogenous. Could be these guys bought impulsively and now they're profit taking or bailing at a loss. You know, it's like they bought it up there, didn't get the further run that they wanted, and so they're puking at a loss, and that's what's pushing it down, right? That's kind of what it looks like to me. The action since here, like, look at that. When I get a gap on my candle, like, that's pretty crazy, right? So these are definitely starting from here stop runs. Is my judgment on it. Is there actually more orders to come through going on the short side, though, to really push this? Because if there are, this could get wild, right? Could get wild. I'm having a hard time seeing something about this situation that makes me really confident that it will go. But I sure hope that they hit my other order there at 04 half, yeah? They built another bit of volume at 07 to 06 half. Uh-oh. Had a little data hiccup there. kind of at a loss for words right now. I'm like, oh, maybe this would be a good time to go to a commercial, but it's moving. I don't think we should do that. I think I'll just keep playing video games. Yeah. Like in all seriousness, we're going to have plenty of other opportunities now after Jackson Hole to trade. I don't think that we have to bet everything on Jackson Hole. Like, it seems like it right now. It seems like this is the event. Like, this is the one that matters. I think there's going to be a lot more after this. Just as an example, next Friday, we have non-farms. It's another week where the Friday is the first day of the month. That happened like two times ago, wasn't it? Oh no, maybe it wasn't. Never mind. Yeah, May it did that, but anyways, so the Friday is the first day of the month is a Friday, and so we're going to get non-farms payroll and ISM PMIs on the same day. So that next Friday is going to be bonkers. Let's see here. And then Labor Day. I always forget what day Labor Day is. September 4th. Oh, so it's that Monday. It's that Monday. So that's going to make next Friday even more crazy. Wonder what the weather will be like then. Do I get like a 20-day forecast? Well, I see on the 7-day forecast it getting back down to 90 by next Thursday. Can we not get an extended forecast? They come awfully close to it, haven't they? But they seem to be developing the volume at L7. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I guess if I had gotten... So there was like the 23, that would have been a good one. When it really started getting cray-cray, I guess there's maybe 15, 20 in it. Hero traders stepping in. Yeah, I don't get the reversal sort of a thing. Let me tell you what. I would never try taking a reversal unless I see clear market volume coming in the other way. Which is to say, like, maybe you see some absorption in here and all of that, that's fine. But I'm not going to go for the hero trade until I see some market orders busting those offers. You know, I need to see a meta order, strong evidence of a meta order going the opposite direction. Now, when I see it, I go for it, because even though it's still kind of the risky trade, it will run. If you're really getting an opposing meta order, those are the best trades, okay? But unless you see that volume, I just don't think that it's worth trying to take these, especially like on the absorption and stuff, because I think that's one of the things that beginner traders will do, is they'll see, oh man, like there's like a huge 10K iceberg down here that's absolutely going to stop it and reverse it and everything. Well, it is a lot of volume. It is kind of odd. Could result in a reversal, but more often than not, they just keep going. So I don't think you want to stand in front of a bus. Hey, got the other order out. Hey, I'm feeling pretty good about this. 1,000 on 3 contracts isn't bad. Yeah. Isn't bad. Oh, except for it's only 500 because we took a $500 loss first. Want to know what Labor Day is gonna be like? What's Labor Day gonna be like? "85 degrees with a 7% chance of rain and slight gusts." That sounds ideal. Ooh, what should we do? What should we do that day? Maybe we could, I can convince my uncle to start the deck project. And this Friday and Saturday, oh man, we should totally try and get some stuff done. Oh, there's the baby stood up. Okay, I've got to walk away. I'm going to put us on your commercial for a second while I go and grab my kids, okay? Okay, we're back. Oh, look, there they go again. Wow. So I was just looking at my little board there, and I saw that Intel is down 4% today. Really? Should we look at that? What do you think, Ethan? Look, it's going to be good weather next weekend. We should do something cool, okay? Maybe we could go camping instead of working. Jeez, AMC. I forget that we were looking at AMC every time like we did this. INTC. Intel Corporation. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that, it's not as, like when we wanted to get in, like down in here. Not that bad. The chart certainly don't look good though. Probably some support around here, but it doesn't look good. Okay, and let's see here. They did jump down a little bit, but bounce back. Yeah. Very interesting. Do you want to talk? You want to talk here? I'll bring it down here for you. There you go. You say yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. No, I don't. I don't talk for the internet, Dad. Stop trying to get me talk for the internet, Dad. Don't like it. See how grumpy his face is? Are you falling asleep? Are you still sleepy on me? You got 12 hours. Here, you need the stress ball? You've got this line on the side of your face. It makes you look like that chick from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, I tell you what. Oh, there's Mom. You hear Mama? Yeah, you hear Mama? Hmm? Hey, Asher. Why didn't you talk into this? Right here. Right here. Right there.
Yeah.
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 Good job. Did you hear Mom? Yeah. I don't know if Asher actually understands communication. Like, I think he's just copying us. I'm not sure if he realizes that like words have meaning, you know? Maybe someday though. We'll see. Anyways, you know, I remember very, very early on, before I was trading futures, when I was just really, really keeping track of the market a lot. Come on down. We'll make Mom come in and get him. You know, she'll have makeup on so she can be on camera for once. Anyways, so when I was just like watching the markets, and something that I remember looking at a lot was when you had the big news releases, especially a non-farms or a Federal Reserve meeting, you would get like this fake move the wrong way. Like it would go up and then it'd go down and it'd go up, and then eventually it would, you know, it would do that 2 or 3 times before it picked the final direction. And since I have been trading futures, that does happen from time to time, but it feels like it's been much more rare. Now, part of that is I'm watching the treasuries and they're more liquid, so you're not going to get as much of that as you will in, like, you know, the S&P 500 above us. But it did so today, and I find it quite curious, don't you guys? It kind of sounds like that was how Lucas was feeling about it. I think we're all a little bit surprised how much movement there was to the downside when this thing actually started to go. She's probably going to do this thing where it's just like, well, it's quiet. I'm going to take this time while I'm in the garage to browse my phone. And yeah, let's see how long it takes her. Do you think she'll be in here before we end the stream? Oh, you be careful back there. Children's. Help! I don't know. It's kind of, well, since we're going to be ending here soon, I guess I should leave an order at 05 just to see if they fill me, but it's kind of looking like maybe the downside is over. It's definitely like since that initial downturn when like those guys really stopped out, hasn't been a whole lot of volume since. So I guess that does point to the theory that this move was endogenous, doesn't it? But sometimes endogenous moves are the best kind. Oh, I don't like that big old order at 06 half. Ah, good. Good. He pulled. It's okay. We might get filled. We might get filled before we have to go. Come grab this other one. Look, you have makeup on. You should take the advantage to make an appearance. Ah, yeah, you do look very lovely. Okay, I'm gonna try and dig him out of here. What's this? In the context of alien species, the Indigenes are one of the member races of Voltan. They have unique physical characteristics such as bright white skin and no visible hair follicles. Interesting. No fill, huh? Come on, it's so close. It's so close. No. So, now that's interesting. There's actually some big orders in this area, like pulling and stacking, because that's stacked all the way up to 2,400 before almost completely pulling and trading back down. I am a little concerned, though, that my order down at 05 is not going to get hit. In fact, yeah, that right there is like a... Yeah. I should have, instead of putting that order there, I should have just hit it. I think I should be okay at 06 half, but I did not like the way that played out with the volume, especially since things had kind of cooled off and everything. Of course, we do got more Fed speakers, so like more crazy stuff could happen today. More crazy stuff could happen today. I do think, though, when I say endogenous, I mean that it came from within. That it was the traders trading Powell and then puking that really ended up causing the move that we saw. So, interesting move. So, markets jump, then puke after Powell speech. I want Jackson Hole in there too. Can I fit it? I'm just going to remove order flow from the title in here to give myself a little bit more. Even though it was endogenous, you know, because when I see endogenous is kind of like, well, you kind of dismiss it. You shouldn't dismiss it because an endogenous move is just as real as any other move, and the impact is permanent. You know, like we're down here now. In order for it to go back up, somebody's going to have to buy it, you know? So we shouldn't ignore it, but it does mean that move does not necessarily represent some fundamental change in the condition of the markets, you know? Oh, looks like maybe I could have gotten filled at 05. Maybe I stressed out about that one too much. But anyways, so it's really a very, very curious move, but does appear to be endogenous. Well, no, I take that. I mean, that last little bit of selling maybe changes the picture. Maybe somebody's taking it short. Maybe now that I've gotten out, I mean, it's time for me to go, so I'm not going to take it. But, you know, them seeing me go out, they're like, okay, now we need to go further so that Seth feels FOMO, max FOMO. Gotcha. Okay, guys, good week. Next week should be interesting. Then we get into the really, really interesting parts of the year, yeah? So I'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, stay excellent, team.